Rolling 2. Okay, the last time I used this thing, I was running back and forth, left and right needle position, and I noticed the lever seemed to be a little floppier, and by the time I finished, it would sit either side, but it doesn't seem to lock into the middle with any real authority. So I'm going to have to dig into that and find out what it is. At this point, I'm using the wide slotted zigzag stitch needle plate, but if I'm going to be sewing heavier stuff, I want to switch to one with just a hole, and I can't have the needle flopping around if that's going to be the case. Like right now, I could see quite a bit more slop in here than it's supposed to have. Let's go left. Yeah, that's solid. And we go right, and that's solid. But the mid-range is just flopping all over the place. That definitely needs to be fixed. Okay, so start. I would say you can work from one end or the other. If you got floppage, I know the needle. Let's get rid of the presser foot and the needle itself, because in the process of working on this, I'm going to be moving both of these up and down, and I don't need to be concerned about what position they're in at any given moment. We'll just get them out of the way completely. Okay, next, I would say pull this end plate. This is just a slide off disconnect. Okay, this one uses a pendulum type bar. It's anchored up here at the top. It is attached to the zigzag rod, the linkage inside. Yeah, apparently this bar down here goes up and through the arm, and everything is right with the world. So, the nice thing about a pendulum system is that it moves the needle back and forth in a straight line and makes it easier for the shuttle hook to pick up the thread. You can change the timing a little forward, a little back through other linkage. We'll see if it does that. And the pivot point is up here. So you're talking, close to a 8, maybe a 10-inch radius for the pivot. So dead center, it's straight up and down, but to either side, it's only going to be a couple of degrees. Parts were missing when I got this. Presser foot, speed control. I was given a Sears Kenmore of an early 60s vintage, and I salvaged a few parts and got the thing working. The Kenmore was also a zigzag machine, but instead of using a pendulum, it used a swinging gate type mechanism, and this moves the needle in a slight arc with a radius of about 1.5 inches, but it keeps the needle bar vertical. So 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You pay your money and take your choice. Okay. Next step here would be use the spring tension on that. And remove the cover from the back. And that will let us have access to this end of things. I am going to swing this thing around so that I can see what's happening at the back, or what would be the back. One of the nice features, since this was made in Germany, is the markings are in millimeters rather than stitches per inch and whatever they used for zigzag in the US. So I have a early 50s metric machine. Cutting edge, man. Cutting edge. Now, let me get a close look in here. And we have the main drive shaft with a gear that runs this rocker back and forth. The rod for the zigzag mechanism hooks in on the bottom. Let's give it maximum zag. And that causes this to move the furthest amount. Zero zag. Okay, so this pivot point here seems to be crossing center, and it should probably be dropping into that groove as a detent. Okay, I can see on the back side there that it's not dropping into the center. So, we'll try giving that little stub a couple of taps and see if I can get it to move. The finish on these old machines is a form of lacquer that was once known as Japanning. You want to be careful before you just start flinging all sorts of solvent on it. Yeah. Let's give that a while to soak and see what we can do. I really don't need a camera running recording solvent evaporating or paint drying or whatever is going on, so I'm going to shut these down for the time being. Come back and give it it another dose. And so it's had some time to soak in, and it's now behaving itself. Right here is that pin, and you probably can't see it from that angle, but it is behaving like a plunger again. Let me go. There we go. Button it back up and do some more sewing with the beastie.